I don't know if you've watched a video where a Western analyst called out the inequalities, the marginalization the Igbos have suffered. And, you know, he said the federal government has denied them of their seaport, denied them of good road infrastructures. Before we go ahead, let us just quickly watch the video together.
Fairly by the government. This is last year. This is the highest rate of any ethnic group surveyed in Africa. In their view, they are sometimes or always treated unfairly by the government.
So it's issue of injustice?
It is a deep grievance, and it's a disconnect from the Nigeria project, as was mentioned earlier. And I mentioned that number just to underscore the underlying grievance that has to be addressed. So amnesty is potentially part of a package, but the disconnect has to be addressed, and the Southeast is a core pillar of the Nigeria project. It comes back to the discussion of its importance. So all of these issues that are being discussed are inherently political. They're being seen through a political lens. For example, infrastructure development. The grievance is you have a very productive region that is exporting not just to Nigeria but internationally. You have, I think, Imo and Anambra are number 4 and number 6 for GDP in Nigeria, and that was in 2021, which was a very violent year. So even amidst the violence, three of the 5 states in Southeast are in the top 12 for GDP per capita, yet there's no seaport. The bridges are not good, the roads are not good. So it is a development and infrastructure issue, but it's seen through a political lens as a political grievance. The same with security, which is you have significant deployment of security forces, yet the perception is the DPOs are not from Southeast, many of the officers are not from Southeast, they are not necessarily well-versed in the local context, and so they're not performing the role of community security in a way that they or other communities would expect. So that's a security issue, yes, but it's also perceived through a political lens, and it's the same with federal appointments and involvement in governance. So these are development, these are policy, these are economic issues, but they're seen through a broader political lens that they're not being kind of fairly adjudicated. And I think that's really important to underscore. So amnesty as part of a package may be a solution, but the underlying grievances have to be addressed with an understanding of the political perception, how the infrastructure problems, how the economic problems, how the security issues are perceived politically, and what it means to have more representative involvement in those efforts from a Southeast perspective. Yes, it has to be a multi-stakeholder approach. The sensitive issues have to be addressed, and there needs to be involvement of the key stakeholders as this initiative is doing. That being said, in context like this, you might not move everybody over. You might not.
I think you can see from the angles it's coming. The man is coming from the angle of inequality that engrossed the southeastern Nigeria as a result of lack of representatives by Igbo man in the federal. Nobody is representing Igbo man there. All our politicians, they are there, for their, selfish interest. And the federal government themselves, they deny the southeastern Nigeria most of the basic amenities, infrastructural development, like seaport, international airport, and so on and so forth, which would have at least, seen that region doing well on the, let me say, from the spectacle of industrialization, industries, and commerce. At least, Caribbean, they have, a working seaport, an operational international airport. I don't think Igbo man being an enterprising or entrepreneur giant of the, on the African continent will have any reason to complain. Then we talk about infrastructures like road infrastructure. The road towards southeast are deteriorated, deplorable, they are not motorable. Then when you talk about the seaport we have in the southeast like One, then Calabar Seaport, Uyo, that's Akwa Ibom.
Yeah.
All of them, they are deeper than Apapa Seaport. But reason why they remain stagnated is quite understood, that Nigerian government, they are just denying the people of that region what should be theirs. Even during the budget, they are excluded. During every annual government expenditure, the budget is read. The portion that is accrued for the Igbo land to that southeastern region is too meager, too poor. Sometimes nothing at all. No federal government project or presence in the southeastern Nigeria. They are neglected, and they are the if you ask me, the owner, the real owner of the resources that is, federal government of Nigeria is using, to develop other regions, to at least pay most of the salaries, at least to fund most of the projects, both international and locally. It is from the same southeast, but yet they are excluded during the broad budget. The analyst is speaking from the angle of political lens, and I understand that actually he is talking about, exploitation, oppression, persecution, marginalization of Igbo man in Nigeria.
Well, after watching that video, I think this man, for me, from my understanding, I think is a pro-Biafran agitation, because this marginalization was what gave birth to the agitation for Biafra. So apparently, it says this white man
is a pro-Biafra. He supports Biafra. I think the man is one of the Biafra agitators. At least, if he's not a British man, he will be either from, let me say, Austria or Belgium. If not from Europe, the man must be an American. I don't know what I understand. Those are people that are, hitting up the emancipation agitation of Biafra. And you see, the man, he has done his homework too well. He's just telling me exactly what is going on in Nigeria about the Igbo man. He's telling me what is going on about the deplorable situation of security in the southeastern Nigeria. He's just telling me about the class of politicians we have in Igbo land. Those politicians, they are there with all manners of security outfits. These are living all their oppositions. Anybody that comes their way, they remove him using their security, outfit. Each and every one of them has, initiated in the southeastern Nigeria. For instance, Ifeanyi Uba, he has his own security outfit. He initiated them at Newi axis. Then again, Imahe, Hope Uzodinma, and so on and so forth. They are the brain behind the Ebubago security outfit in Igbo land, which of course, they are not at least unifying with Eastern Security Network, which every Igbo man knows are the forest guard in Igbo land, who are at least checkmating the menace of Fulani herdsmen, terrorism across southeastern Nigeria. These security outfits, they are not working in unison because of what? The Igbo political class we have in the southeast. All of them, they are self-centered. They are working for their personal interests. They are not even uniting together to fight Igbo cause in the federal level, but they just do this for their own personal benefit. That is how they politic in the center, in the centrality. They cash out only for themselves, their families, for their children, not for the entire Igbo people. So what I'm trying to say is that the Fulani oligarch in the north, Hausa Fulani, use these political vagabonds in the southeast to fight the Igbo man, to fight the cause of the Igbo, at least to make sure that they succeed on exterminating that idea of Biafra sovereign state.
Okay, before I let you go, Dele Faro to me said just a few days ago that the Igbos, when it comes to the hierarchy of impunity, that Igbos sit lowest, and I'm confused. because when we look at the likes of Uzodinma and co, but they refer to me saying that the Igbos are the ones that have been the least contributor of impunity, that they don't engage in impunity in Nigeria, and yet
that is, they commit without being punished. They commit without, you know, going through the process of law or court process to bring justice against anybody that commit crime. Because you find out that the meaning of impunity is when you contravene the law of the land.
That's what he said, that the Igbos don't. They don't contravene the law
at all. They don't contravene the law. They are always careful, and that is why we have that kind of government in the southeast. If you are doing well, they will come out and support you. If you are doing bad, they will turn their back on you. That's it. They don't believe on, let me go and do this and rubbish myself in the federal or in the state level and come and, you know, and start living a big, you know, Jagaban life. No. You would be thinking this thing will dent my name and the community as a whole. They will not be following me. In the future, I might not be the leader of my community.
I guess this is why they have rejected the likes of Okorocha and Ojuzo Kalu.
I'm telling you, they reject that kind of life, because you find out that the two persons we are talking about, they are living bogus life, volatile life, only for themselves, their own benefit. And this time around, if you ask any Igbo man if Okorocha or Ojuzo Kalu is his leader, he will say what? Tofiakwa. The two men are boo-boo yaya men. They can never be my leader. I'm just talking in favor of Igbo man. Because they find out that they are selfish. The level of impunity they committed in the southeast, do you know how? Ojuzo Kalu ruled for a straight 8 years. How much did he borrow from World Bank? Billions. That's why he went to jail. Did he use that money for Igbere people where he comes from? No. Did he use it for the entire Abia? No. How do you see Alex Otis' present administration and the achievement he actually, you know, did within a space of 6 months? So volatile, so bogus, so magnanimous. I don't know, understand. I mean, Alex Otis' achievement. Then how did you see Ojuzo Kalu's administration that runs from 1999 to 2007, straight 8 years? Boo-boo yaya achievement. That is, he's a thief. So Igbos, we don't like that kind of thing. Then again, I want to mirror Rochas Okorocha's angle. Okorocha ruled straight 8 years. What is it that Okorocha has achieved for Ndimo? The Imolites did not receive anything. He deceived them into giving them a free education. At the end of the day, how many persons attended university, secondary school without paying school fees in Imo State? None. And they are now licking their wound. That's why you learned that during this current speculation, though I said I don't wish anybody dead, but if you find out, if you look at what is going on, Igbos, they don't care if Okorocha dies because of his previous achievement. So there are people that they believe that if you do wrong, God is watching you and you should go for it. That's why they alienate themselves from all manners of impunities.
Thank you very much for that brilliant submission, Mr. Raphael.